turning this mic on for the moment while I try and figure out the next one. Or while I try and figure out too hot. While my regular audio is not working. Everything says it should be working, but alas, it is not. I was almost on time. Let's see. Hold, please. Let's reset this. And can you see if it works? One more time. And okay, how about that? Now now you should have like proper audio, right? BT coming in to save the stream start. Thank you, BT. Let's reset. First, hello to Nolan and everybody else. Hopefully your weekend has started better, and this is not a sign of how the rest of the stream will go. Yeah, boy, that was fun. Yeah. So tomorrow I have an event. I got back from Vegas last night actually, and it's just been a whirlwind. I've barely recouped, and we're just like, how's that hangover, Josh? Yesterday was rough trip back home, but it's totally a sign. Let's hope that it's not. Let's hope that but it could be, because it's man, I was gone for a week. We left last Thursday night, Vegas. We were there for LA. We had a bunch of stuff there. And then Vegas was absolutely packed for time. We were every day. It just seemed like we were completely booked. So we finally got done with everything late on Wednesday. We went out on Wednesday night, and then I paid for it on my trip back, because I am an amateur. Is that a new? Yeah. You can see it. Yes. That is a new wheel, and I have not taken it out of the box yet. When I went down to EVGA, if you guys I didn't post it up because I didn't know it was going to happen. But last Friday, when we were doing our whirlwind trip around LA, I made my last stop at EVGA and did a quick stop in there, and I jumped on their stream and played some BeamNG on the EVGA stream. And then when I was leaving, he was just like, "Hey, here's a Logitech wheel." So, bonus. And I got home yesterday. I haven't got a chance to plug it in yet or anything like that. I doubt I'll be doing an after stream tonight, just because it's I've got to finish getting prepped for this event. But I wasn't going to let that stop me from doing a live stream, since I missed last week, and I feel obligated, and I really like doing them. So there's that. Even if I just sat here and didn't get anything accomplished, which wouldn't be a big surprise to anybody. Going to be in LA next week. Wait, what's next week? I'm going to be there again the week after. What is that one? Yeah, G923 is what that one is. So, yeah. I don't know 100% the specs, but by the way, RIP EVGA. For those of you who are big into the computer scene, EVGA made a huge announcement today that EVGA will no longer be partnering with Nvidia. They are going to sell the rest of their 30 series EVGA or Nvidia cards, and then that's it. So that's pretty crazy for for EVGA. It's like a huge portion of their revenue. I'm sure they have a plan. I don't know what it is. I am not in the know, but pretty wild to see. So, I mean, for now they say that they're not going to be making any other people's cards or anything like that. Maybe that means they have their own. Who knows? I don't know anything about anything. It seems like. So yeah, it is insane. Wait, when will you be there next Thursday week? Let's see. We will be kind of coming through on our way for Proline by the Fire. Are you going to be there? You're going to miss the Proline by the Fire by like a day. 80% of their business with the GPUs. 80% of their revenue, I believe, gross revenue was GPUs. But also not a big amount of their profits. Pretty insane. They had like a 2% margin on GPUs. I can't imagine having to run a business on 2% margins. It's crazy. Autism Awareness Crawling. So yeah, tomorrow is the ASD Crawlers Autism Awareness Crawl. They do it every year. This year, thankfully, it is at a new location. It is not at the Frank Rains Park, where it is always so hot. And the terrain is not so good. This year, it's at the Bear River Resort up where they used to have the Crawl for a Cure event, which ended last year. So going up there, it's off the 88. So pretty awesome. Let's see. So yeah, I have to figure out what I'm going to take. I was thinking about taking this guy, and then I was realizing that I don't have my shift linkages cut yet, which I plan to do. So I don't think that it's going to make it. So I know I'm going to be taking my VS410 Pro because that's just like it's my rock. It's the one that just is always there. It's always running. It's always my go. It's just, I love that truck. I've driven it. So it's just like, shouldn't be too hot with the storm coming. Yeah, for real, Chris. The freaking weather all of a sudden is nice here. I'm just like, okay. So, this truck is family. The lime green one? No, my old beat up orange one, orangish. How do the SCX6 Honcho look in person? Looks very much like it does in the photos. It's good looking. I like that truck a lot. I got the scale news on this Monday will be, what's the Pro look like at this moment? Dirty. Just very dirty. Exactly how you've seen it the last times, but just very dirty. Too dirty for me to bring in here and like put on my shelves. That's the reason. I should, but I just I need to just like clean it off a little bit. But no, scale news this week is going to be pretty awesome just because there was a lot of things that I hadn't seen yet at NERSA because they either weren't set up at the booths or they just weren't really they weren't pointed out to me. High Tech has some cool new stuff. They've got a new servo that will be like a good fit for crawling. It's close to like that 1,000 ounce inch range. They also like completely redesigned their gear train and their gear material. Then they came out with these linear actuators, which I feel like we're all going to find some sort of use for. And let's see. It's I want to find I have a photo of it here in my phone. Look at these little guys. So they have 3 different lengths. These are the short and the middle length, and then one's longer. So did High Tech go to 25 tooth? It's a great question, Scott. It's a great question. I wish I knew that off the top of my head. I should have. I wonder if I took a photo. I didn't take a good enough photo to see. Did I take a photo of the specs? Let me get, no. I did not. Dang it. I took a photo of the other specs. Why don't I see it? Hold on. Let me just double check. There I did. Nah, it doesn't say. It just says steel gear. They had the new servo there on the bottom, and then they have a new 1/5 scale low pro on the top. But those linear actuators, super cool. And I'm excited. Any words with RC four-wheel drive at the show? Not specifically. We had a couple fun exchanges, but that was about it. RC Underdog, thank you, sir. I'm 3D printing you and Matt a gift. I will give you a Proline with fire. I'm hyped. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Where are we at here? Gunnerness, and thank you, sir. Hello, all. Tonight's code, ASD procrastinators. Yes. Thank you, Dana. Pin message. There is your 10% discount to satisfiedjerky.com. Much appreciated. So, yeah. Then we've got flat rails. Really? I thought you were set against flat rail along with MOA portal. Wait. Along with MOA and portals. I've always liked MOA. Always been a big fan of MOA. Portals, I still don't prefer over straight axles many of the times, but every once in a while. And flat rails, yes, I still give shit to. And I give shit about all of them. But only because I feel like they're not so scale. Did you do some headlights? I've got a design for some headlight stuff done. It'll be integrated into the front bumper design. And I just need to finish it and send it to Send Cut Send. And I just haven't done that yet. It's just been a freaking whirlwind. I feel like I need something back here too. Some sort of hoop bar. I don't know. Many things. I think those actuators have enough oomph for steering. They may. I just don't know if they have the speed for steering. So I feel like it depends on where they're being used. Yeah, I don't know. Gunner, what time are you planning on going up there tomorrow? I feel like we're going to try and go early, which is going to be tough because I'm still very tired. I'm so tired. Put a beer barrel in the bed of the truck. Was there any beer referenced in the National Lampoon Vacation? I could come up with normal things, but I want something that is fitting to the theme. Suck it up, John. Oh, I'm going to have to. Use them for dig. Again, I think you want fast in those situations. I feel like they're going to be better for like lifts. There's all kinds of things where that can, be a thing. I don't know. But linear actuators are just cool. I know I was going to try and use some in the RCPC at the time, but they were just kind of a pain to like find the ones that were going to work well and then get a programmer that would use it and all that. I was just like, ugh. But these high-tech ones, they use their standard programmer, so you can set like your midpoint. They have an actual potentiometer, like a snowplow. You could use it in a snowplow. I believe they're also waterproof. I believe. Didn't Aunt Edna have a large chair? No, I think you're thinking of Beverly Hillbillies, where like Grandma was on the roof. Aunt Edna was just like, wasn't she just wrapped up and on the top? I feel like that's like one of those Mandela effects where people like remember her like sitting upright on the top. Don't forget the dog lead. Yep, dog lead for sure. A few little things here and there. But, some of those linear actuators produce like 45 pounds pull. Yeah, some of them are, absolute. Aunt Edna was on a rocker. Not when she was on the car though, right? Like that was just on. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it. I thought she was just like on the top of the car. I'm sure I'm remembering. I must be remembering wrong. Lawn chair, rocking chair on the roof. What? See, now I have to Google it because I swear I was like, I watched. Aunt Edna vacation images. No, not in a chair on the roof. Let's see. She was just on the roof, I think. Yeah. Set. There you go. Rolled up in a tarp on the roof. Exactly. That is exactly right. So yeah, she was not on a chair. There you go. So there you go. Done and doneer. That's what I remembered too. I'm sure you're all very interested in that little detail. But anyway, since this is not likely what I'm taking tomorrow, on that what, John? Sounds like, how, I know I say it, I like try and enunciate it differently when I'm paying attention on the roof. What did I think of the TRX4M? Oof. It is going to be really, really good. The build of it is, it's on a different level. It really is. It's super stout. Like everything, it feels more built like a, like a 10 scale that's truly scaled down. Versus, like the SCX24, it's pretty stripped down, bare bones. There's not a lot of, and it obviously worked for exactly what it's doing. And the SCX24, I believe, is still a little bit cheaper. Thanks, Matt. The champagne fund. No more. I will be sticking to sparkling water and coffee solely for the next 5 or 6 months. I was irresponsible, the word that I was going for. But that TRX4M, I'm telling you, when people get those things in their hands, they are going to love them. The size, I know they said 1/18th. I think that's just a matter of that, like, how things, because the 24 scale, that 624 doesn't scale to 24th. It's like 20th. And theirs is 18th because it is a little bit larger. The wheelbase on that TRX4M is the same as the SCX24 Gladiator, but it's a little bit wider. And everyone runs wideners anyway. So these things are basically going to go kind of head to head. I feel like you're going to see them just head to head, side by side all the time. Did they give a price point? $150, $149. So yeah, not G10. Thanks, sir. Been using you and Matt for hours of entertainment, so I figure I should send at least some money. Also, why the hell did they do bushings for the TRX4M? It's a good question. I really think that they were trying to hammer the price point. I think that they were doing everything they could to build this truck as best they could and hit price points where they wanted. And I think that was one of those things that must have shaved pennies. While I would always prefer bearings. And I guess I'm still kind of surprised that bushings are much cheaper. But I mean, maybe it could have saved them $1. And $1 is a lot when you're looking at that. So, I think that that's probably one of those things that is just going to be like, yeah, these should have been bearings. But, I would rag on bushings a lot more if it wasn't 24 scale. but I still will rag on it a little bit. But at the same time, when you guys see that truck in person, you're going to be like, there is a lot of value here in comparison to it. Just saying, like, it's one of those ones that when people see it in person. Boom Racing Series 3 up close. Yes, I did. I did see it up close. Looked pretty decent. If you like that type of ugly Land Rover, which I know some people are big fans of. It is not me, but it was a good look. It would look like a well done body. How about, yeah, it looked well done. Not good looking, but well done. Gunnerness, and thank you, sir. Canadian $2. Is that equal to 2 pesos? I think it's like 20 pesos, but it's still like 18 or 19 cents. Perry G. If we're all lucky, the coffee trailer would be there tomorrow. Oh, is there a coffee trailer? I heard there was a food truck. I would be very happy with a coffee. I only had one coffee today. That's tough for me. One, and it was only like a regular shot of espresso. Chrissy, she thanks, sir. With TRX M, make a good start for a Mini. Ooh, I don't think so. I think that I think it's too small. I don't think that it being called 1/18 scale versus what we used to use for 1/18 scale, like the, what was that called? The low C MRC. I think it's a long way from that. It's still going to use, it's still going to use the 1.0 wheels like an SCX24 uses. It still has a 7mm hex behind it. So, you know, yeah, I think it'll be, people are going to be impressed, I think. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that I will all of a sudden feel like I love small scale stuff as much. But looking at it objectively between them, I think it'll be interesting. The coffee trailer was there last. Oh, see, I didn't make it last year. Where I had something that didn't allow me to be there this year. Is that espresso setup on Instagram yours? No, that's a very nice espresso setup. That is not mine. Our shop neighbor at work, he is an espresso. He does sales and service for espresso machines. So we have an espresso bar set up, which is very handy. Makes for my my coffee addiction to be, you know, well supported. SCX6 Honcho all the way. The SCX6 Honcho, I think that if, as far as like performance, the SCX6 Honcho is going to do much better than the Jeep, just because of like the clearance of the large full bumper and all that kind of stuff. And you know, it's got a cool bed, and the body looks pretty decent. I feel like there's going to be a better chance of having aftermarket bodies that are made for that bed than I do for the SCX6 size, or at least like ones that are more, you know, narrowed down and can fit those narrower bumpers. So price on the Honcho, the exact same as the Jeep. It's $1,099, $1,099, 9 times. What was the other one? Oh, the HPI 5B releases. They're doing both a electric and a gas version. Both are kits. Neither come with a motor or any electronics. So that's pretty interesting. I honestly didn't even see it, and I had it in. Wait. Go watch my review, then come back. Did you see Hemi Storm's short wheelbase SCX16? I saw photos of it. I didn't see a video if you put that out yet. Prices, wow, some prices without, same prices without the license of the body. Yeah, it's a good point. You know, I'll costs are going up. Most of the stuff underneath is the same. It does have a big molded rear cage, but the other one had an interior cage. It's significant. So I guess that is something. Sometimes I kind of don't put as much thought on the licensing costs. So I guess I don't know. Could go either. It is interesting though. I'll be down for S66 line as soon as there's clear body available. You can get clear bodies now. Scale crawler fab shot. Like Ben, much appreciated. Looking forward to Proline by the... Oh, I'm probably going to have a beverage at Proline by the Fire. Okay, but not until then. Not this weekend. Nope. Scott O'Blander, thank you, sir. Did HPI have a built 5B at NERSA or just the box? Evidently, they did have a built one there that they were driving at the demo session, but I wasn't at the demo stuff. So that's for like stores only. We were an exhibitor, and exhibitors are not allowed at that stuff. There was, do you guys know who Oxide Marine is? If you're wondering, the Oxide Marine they make these wild, like either fiber or Kevlar or carbon fiber boats that are like 8S. They're several thousands of dollars built. Oxidine machine? Oxidane? Oh. I didn't know that it was said differently. I must have read it one way in my head, and then I just never even noticed. Anyway, they have a OxyClean. They have a boat demo thing at a pond, and it's an 8S boat setup, and for some reason he put 10S in it just for like showing off a little bit. Anyway, it was going and the top hatch blew off, and then smoke and flames started coming out of this very, very expensive boat. And someone else who was at the demo was like gonna come splash it or something, or try and do something with a Traxxas Spartan. I don't know if he was trying to push it over, what he was trying to do, but he ended up coming to hit it or push it or whatever, and he just parked it right on top of it and also melted that boat. So it just melted these two. It was like 10 minutes of flames on the pond of these two boats, just before somehow they were able to. So there was lots of photos and things of that. It was pretty good from what I heard. I mean, unfortunate that they burnt, and I don't think they sank, but it was oof. Did you know that all plastic models are Gundams? Is that real? Are you trying to make me say it the wrong? All I know is that I've said it the wrong way before and got given shit for it. I feel like I'm wrong. I feel like whatever I've said that this is a Gundam model before is incorrect, and then got yelled at and be like, well, actually, whatever. I'm just not saying it. Never have that. Never had that expo again. Yeah. Where's the cat? She is on the wheel right outside the door. That's why she's yelling. So, Next, Nancy's wondering if Nicole is still in for Poland. Yes, she is absolutely in. She will be there. Kicking and screaming no matter... No, she'll be there for sure. She's looking forward to it. Let's see. I keep looking for my wife's cat. Just realized that it's yours. Yeah, sorry about that. Noise cancellation. Sometimes, for some reason, doesn't get that. Trike update. Oh, yeah. I was hoping to be able to work on the trike tonight, but everything went late for work and all that. My thought was that I was actually going to try and set up a stream from the garage. And I will still hopefully be able to do that. I just don't know when. Like, there's a possibility it could be Sunday, but... I I've got my exhaust bends. They're in. I got a bunch of laser cut tabs. I just bought them from the same place since they were there, rather than like drawing my own and having send get them. I just bought them from them, same place. I can throw them all in the box. So I'm going to hopefully get my exhaust all tacked and welded, and I got my new brake set up for the rear, so I get that put on, and I'll need some like bits and pieces of hardware, but really that's like, I got my throttle cable, a couple of things like that. I do want to get a shorter brake line, but that's about it. I've got to weld on another bracket or two and do a couple little things. It's just going to be, it's going to be pretty easy. Here's $2 for Nicole to help me tomorrow and at Proline by the fire. Oh, if you give her a job, Gunner, she'll be super happy. She's supposed to help with doing some registration stuff tomorrow, but then she will be available, and I'm sure she would be in for trying to sell jerky. So, what adult beverages desired at Proline by the fire? I can't think about it right now. I want no thoughts. Dude, speaking of cats, have you seen the black Bengals that have been in the market lately? I have not. We are not, although like we've talked about before, our oldest kitten, she's old now, like 16 or so. I think we're, I don't know if she'll see the /23 at the end of the dates. So, yeah, don't be a quitter, Josh. No one likes 1 gallon of Ripple. Oh my God, Brian. Like Matt, was that Ripple, Mad Dog, or Mogan David? Oh, sad. You know what? We are surprised that we had the last couple of years with that particular cat. So it's been good. We've spoiled the crap out of her over that time, and we feel like she's been happy, and we've been happy to have her. So it will be sad, but at the same time, better that we've got to have her the extra time than what we thought. So, nothing's happened yet. We're just enjoy the time we have with her left. TRX 4000 versus SCX6, and the winner takes on the trike. I will be taking the TRX 4000 with me tomorrow. I don't think that I'll need to re-peak the battery. I think it'll be fine. And the SCX6 I could take but I'm not. I won't have time to. I won't have time to get that done. Need to send you some shine straight from the mountains. I know, guy. I didn't grow up. I spent a decade in Missouri, in southern. We got some good moonshiners down there as well. And I tell you, that stuff's like gasoline. Don't act like you changed charge the battery first. I did charge it before the tractor pull. We know you haven't grown up. Yeah. Agreed. All right. I should try and work on something. Any thoughts on a digital dash stuff from Scale Built RC? It's cool. It is cool. I've seen it. And it's cool. I like it. All right. What am I going to get done, though? I should do something. Even though I feel like a pile. And I feel like I'm not going to get anything done. Just joined. You going to ASD, Josh? Yes, I will be there. I'm just trying to figure out what all I'm bringing. I'll probably bring this just because I've been working on it. And, I've got the dash files and stuff like dash and interior cage files for sale. So why not? But my Pro is probably just going to be my go-to. And I have my Phoenix too. I have my Phoenix to put some hours on. So yeah. And then, I'm wondering if I should just take the trike tomorrow, just for fun. I don't know. Which Phoenix? I have to decide there. I have to decide. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could take them both, but I'm not going to drive that many trucks. So, does it drive yet? No, it doesn't. Wait, I don't know what you're talking about. This or the... You need to designate which Phoenix is. I know. Because I have like 3, 4 maybe. They're all like set up in different ways. Like video trucks that were done originally that I don't drive as much because we like keep the video trucks like looking pretty decent. How many pages are the waivers for riding the trike? The trike. No, it's not up and running yet. Still have to do the exhaust. That's like the big thing. Jeremiah, what's going on? Thank you, sir. Starting a new build. It's not RC. Building an... we don't talk about that stuff on these streams. No politics, no noisemakers. Not because we don't all enjoy them. Because of YouTube stuff. After that, buying a 3D printer, looking at the Elegoo Neptune 3. I don't know how much that one retails for. The Ender stuff is super. It's like it's got such a good user base that it's always such a good option. And then otherwise, it's the Prusa. Like I'd always say the Prusa, but it's a lot more expensive. Otherwise, it's like, man, I don't know. It's hard to say. You need a camera built for follow shot, but then I got to try and drive 2 trucks. So that's the, can you recommend RC cars that scale well with 1/12 Mezco? 1/12. Isn't that? Is it in here? The FMS Jimny. I think there's a 1/12 FMS Jimny that's super cool. And I think that it's close to scale accurate at 1/12, but I don't know that. Yeah, trailer with a camera for Wait, what? I don't know. The Ender is great, but you need $150 in upgrades. If you're okay with that, it's still under the price. Yeah. Do you miss Jefferson Jr., aka Scroll Fest, and how does it rank for events? I've never been to the Jefferson one. Squirrel Fest was up in Oregon, and that was, it was an experience. It was a good time. But I've never been to the one when they moved it down to California. So, hey, Josh, turn your phone on so we can read your texts. No. Move it out of the way. It was on lock anyway, so you just saw like the notifications popping up. There you go. You don't need to know what's all on that phone. Grab your shells and show some. Should we just go through random trucks? I just don't. I feel like I'm too tired to like do anything actual work. I would rather just answer questions. I think, yeah, we can grab the Woods Runner tonight. This is one that I do want to get back to work on. This dust is actually painted. Moose Jaw painted the dust on to make it look more like a barn find. I asked him to do that. It's not just natural patina from me not working on it. That's some serious actual dust. So, this is absolutely... Oh, I didn't put my camera to the other position tonight. No wonder. wonder things looked off to me. Oop, don't pan the camera too far. So, the black lung. I got the black lung pop. I bought it. Totally thought it was intentional dust. So, this is one that I absolutely plan to get back to here before too long. My plan for it is a nice interior, since it's all open. It's a VS410 chassis underneath. You can see that's just been sandblasted. I feel like maybe I should not coat the cage and just let it kind of rust naturally, right? I don't know. I'm still kind of open to that idea. This is a VS410 body. It's a VS410 Pro underneath, which maybe I'll swap out to D44s. I feel like D44s would be like a good fit under this, right? And then it's the same origin body, but it's been narrowed an inch or close to an inch. So what I do need to do is take the file for our normal grill. Moose Jaw did accidentally paint the lenses, so I'll probably cut those out and then do Q series instead. So I need to take the file for the grill so that I can make a narrowed one. And, you know, I could maybe simplify it a little bit, like take out the grates and then add my own there and do like a forged carbon fiber one. You know, that could be a fun way to do it. Might still be a lot of work, but I think it could still be cool. But, you know, the body narrowing, especially once the grill is on it, you'll only have the seam down the middle. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not that bad. I need to do some tailgate stuff back here. It's got a much larger rear surface here than like the other ones that I have before. The one on the Woods Runner that Ben had probably like the best sized rear opening. So I'll probably add taillights off on the side like I had before and something in the middle. I don't know. But other than that, just a nice interior is going to be needed, and then something for the rear just to kind of get it cleaned up, fixed, you know, filled in. I don't know how you want to put it, but yeah, little things. I don't necessarily need a lot of the stuff to be crazy. I just want it to be. I'm surprised no one has come up with a glue for Lexan that'll hold up to narrowing bodies, etc., that will hide seams. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that you can do it almost perfectly to where it can't, but I mean, getting two pieces of material to marry perfectly and not see that would be really difficult. I mean, even like trying to do it with two pieces of metal that are cut almost perfectly, you know, unless they're like EDM cut, where, you know, like you see like those puzzle pieces that people make where they can drop them in, then it just like disappears. Like, unless it's that good, it's almost impossible. So I feel like it would be just as almost impossible here. But, yeah, little things. It's just one of those trucks that I want just done. I want done the way that I want. I don't really have I'm not in a hurry for that to happen. And when it gets there, it gets there. Fill, sand, and paint. The outside should be fine. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm not gonna go any further steps on this thing. Just not a thing. What's my favorite style of Vanquish axles? I finally got a set of D44s and can't wait to put it together. I mean, the D44s are one of my favorites for sure. You know, most, like, if I had never seen any of them, like the F9 style is just kind of always my my most favorite. As far as like full-size axles and everything, I like fabricated style housing. So, but you know, I've seen so many of them, and it's just now I like the D44s. They're a little bit more rare. So, what are your wheel and tire choices for the Woods Runner? I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't know yet. How long did it take to make the cage? I actually had this one built. This one was built by the same guy who built the one that that Ben has. So DS Fab Works built it, and I don't remember. He probably had it 6 months. I don't know. But even when I sent it to him, I was not in a hurry, and he was like moving houses and didn't have time, and I was just like, it's fine. Like, I don't care. Just whenever you get it done, great. I don't care. I've waited way longer than that to get a cage done. So it's just does not bother me. With the Woods Runner template on the website, can I download that and send, cut, send? Also for Xmas, my kids will get the TRX4M. TRX4M is a good gift. But no, you could not send, cut, send because this is tube. And send, cut, send's only going to be flat stock. And then it would still, like, even if you cut that, and even if you were going to try and build some sort of like weird square tubed thing, I don't think that would work out. Yeah. I can't think of any way that you could make it happen that it would be a usable thing. How's the moon buggy coming along? I'm pretty sure that it has not changed since you all saw it last. But this thing hasn't changed since you all saw it last either, other than collecting a little bit more natural patina. So, but makes for a pretty good VS410 Pro sit around. Of course, we have the Ripper I could bring tomorrow too. So the I did a whole bunch of updating on this for Axial Fest, and I recorded a bunch, and then I just didn't get a video made. Like I still have the video footage of it and all that. But this thing is filthy now. Every year after Axial Fest, I get it filthy and then don't touch it until the next year. You should do what's on the shelf weekly, right? So this one I put the ProTech 1K TBL servo in. They recently came out with that, and I actually had it's a great servo. I had a good time running it up there. It's on a BEC because it's not a direct power. So BEC gave it plenty of power. I think I'm running it at like 8.4, maybe like 9 volts, somewhere in there. So it's putting out like 1,000, 1,100 ounce inches, somewhere in there. If they say they run at 7.2, they'll obviously run at 8.4. And if it's on at 8.4, like 9 volts is not that much more. So, you know, it's probably fine, and it makes a ton of power. So it doesn't have to work as hard because it makes so much power and it just goes faster then. Don't do that at home. Do not recommend. I mean, I do, but I don't. Yeah, not that much more. I mean, it's less than 10% more. So, you know, how bad? It's like 8%. Willing to overpower servos, but not overamp charging batteries. I know. Oh, by the way, Podium Power Sports, aka also Brazen Scale. Matt forgot to mention the Brazen Scale sponsorship for Livestream Takeover on Wednesday, because I did watch the show, even though I wasn't able to be commenting the whole time. So, for those of you who are not aware, Brazen Scale was sponsoring Livestream Takeover this month. If you would like a chance to win one of 4 chassis that he's going to be giving away, then you can go on go to Instagram and make a post, tag Brazen Scale, myself, and Matt in the comments. If you forget Matt, I feel like it's okay because he forgot the rest. But don't forget Matt also. Make a photo or make a post on Instagram, tag us in the text, and get a chance to win one of the Brazen Scale chassis. He makes 5 different chassis. I think he's going to give away 4 total. You're not necessarily going to get the one that you are requesting. In the post, say which one you would like. Maybe if it gets chosen, chosen's right. Why did I couldn't remember if chosen was a word for a second. That's how tired I am. But if you're chosen, then possibly you will get that chassis. So there you go. Thanks to Brazen Scale for sponsoring this month of Livestream Takeover. Now we'll go back to Friday's show. Perry G. Asterisk. The opinions expressed by Harley Designs are not necessarily shared by the people with common sense or his attorneys or employer. Chosen did it. Josh, did you wear this Horizon uniform to Vegas? I did wear a blue shirt this year, but I made sure that I didn't wear khaki pants. So I wore jeans or gray pants instead. Now back to the regular scheduled program. I seriously had to stop and think. Is chosen a word? Choosed? Choiced? Matt has a Tower Hobbies uniform. Josh has a Horizon. Matt just walks around introducing himself days before he actually meets the people. Which flat rail chassis line up with the VS410? I know the Brazen Scale ATL did. The Rock Pirates RC Interceptor is what it was called, I believe, did. Are those the only 2 I know of offhand? I feel like those are the only 2 I know for sure offhand. Yeah. Yeah. The TGH, I don't think that the TGH does. I think that it uses its own proprietary spacing. Scattergun didn't it? Ooh, so the Scattergun, it may have, actually I think it would have probably, but the one that I got was made for the forward motor mount, so I ended up using an axial, but it should have. And that was a good chassis as well. I liked that Scattergun build. It was fun. So, yeah. Can you talk about the tension or lack thereof with the RC4 Drive team at NERSA? So the only one from RC4 Drive at NERSA was John from RC4 Drive, who he's based out of like Pennsylvania, and I've known John forever. So there was no real tension, just jokes, just joking. It was fun. John's great. He was getting set up at the beginning of the day and like taking photos of his booth. So if for those of you who didn't see, I put out a bonus Scale News update, and I walked around, but it's basically a huge room and there's just rows of tables, and you get a table or multiple if you get multiples. So there's like an aisle that you would walk down, tables on each side. Well, that means that the tables are back to back. So basically, I was facing this way, and RC4 Drive was like right behind me. So like if I like backed up and he was standing there, he would have been right there. Oh, so I did do I have a video. I think it'll just be like a social media video, but I did a, let me find it here. Where, I swear to God, it's like oh, there it is. I grabbed one of all of the free pens at the convention. And I ranked the pens. There was an RC Pro Drive pen in there as well. So, what? No, Reese, the Reese pen's right there at the top. See it? So, the Reefs pen, pretty good. Pretty good pen. So, thing that's quite. So I was at the booth, and Steve, who was with me there, I told him, I was like having something, and I like grabbed a couple of the pens. I was like, ooh, there's this. And then I was like, Steve, will you go find the rest of the free pens? And he's like, sure. He's like, that's something he would rather walk around than stand still at any time. So it was perfect. So he came back. He's like, here, I had to grab these business cards before I could take one of their pens. So here, this is yours now. So, was the 1/18 scale Apache truck coming out? Was that 1/18 Apache truck coming out soon? Yes, that was a coming out soon truck. For those of you that didn't see that, I also have a video of it. Let's see. So it's a FMS 1/18 scale hard body 6x6 Apache. So a pretty cool looking little body, really. I was like, oh, I like that. So, Josh is a pen snob now. I've always been a pen snob. Like, I'm very picky with pens. The 6x6 part of that Apache ruined it. I mean, I know what you mean. Like, I could imagine all the people that were like, ooh, I'd really like a hard body, cool Apache truck. 6x6. Like, no. I feel like there's a very small amount of people who would want Josh is a snob. Any other HPI teasers? I don't think so. Has Vanquish ever had pens for swag? No. And I feel like it'd be a terrible idea for us because I would like, ooh, you know which one we should get? We should really get the Pilot G3s because they have, and then they'd be like free pens that cost us $1.50 each. Yeah, I didn't know if Matt would say this, but Matt says, I have it and reviewed it, and then they changed the release date. And he's talking about that freaking Apache, this one. And he told me that he like had it in a video, had it ready to go, and then couldn't release. And I'm like, I just saw it publicly today, and it's posted up, and I have it in the video that I'm putting out tomorrow. And he's just like, I was like, I'm sorry. Pilot G2s, or where did I say? I think you're right. I think I said G3 by. Now I've got to look. Is it G2 or G3 that I like? Pilot G3. Oh wait. I think it might be the G2. No, GT. Yeah, G2s are great as well. The G2 is the one, I think. Double checking. Yeah, it is the G2. Pilot G2. That's where it's at. You want a good, inexpensive regular pen, Pilot G2. Also, little tip on what I preferred when I was doing my pen test. I prefer blue ink over black ink. It just, if you get a freebie pen and it's got blue ink, it's like, oh, okay. I like what you did here. So, my wife is questioning my YouTube choices with this pen talk. Oh, if you're a pencil person, there's a dividing line there. Like I'm writing with a pencil. I'm just like, oh, I hate the scratchy feeling. It's like, it just like makes me crawl. Aardvark Spleen, thank you. Any chance of a beam stream that's interesting? You have you checked out BeamNP multiplayer mod? I love the streams. Thanks for, yes, we have done. Matt and I did a BeamNP as well, which was a good time. And then I've played BeamNP with a few others as well. But yes. Wait, is G2 gel? We can't use gel at work. That's interesting. I believe that it is. Vanquish machined bolt action EDC. I would like that because do I have a... This is a Bic Intensify Fine, which is also kind of a nice, it's like a felt tip more than a regular pen, but is my bolt action pen in here? It was my Ridge bolt action pen. And I tell you what, I think like a high quality machined version, like one that was like super snappy, I'd be a fan of. I was like, I will not read any comments requesting mechanical pencils because they're dead to me. Ran my first ever comp last weekend. No rollovers, resets winches, and hit both the bone. Congratulations. How did you place? Because that matters. If it was too easy of a course, I can't give you the kudos. I'm just kidding. Congratulations. My cat is so confused. I keep telling him to be quiet for no reason. You're dead. You're dead to me. Can we get a pen unboxing review shootout? I think I still have all the pens. I think I have all the pens here still. I work in a wood shop. Number 2 pencils. All the wood even. See, I think that's the other thing. I don't like working with wood either. Metal is where it's at. Speaking of brazen scale, the Class 2 truck. I had a gentleman who was going to buy this, and then I have not heard from him in a while. But it happens. Everybody gets busy. This was my Class 2 from Scale Nationals. I don't have the thing in there. It's got the titanium cage and the carbon fiber floor, because those are super important there. Titanium rear bed hinge, titanium... carbon fiber on the upper supports of the hinge. Yeah, there's a titanium roof rack. Thank you, you're welcome. Titanium rear body support. So the rear of this thing, it's sandwiched. There's one like this underneath as well, all bolts through. True carbon fiber body. That rig needs a BMF wallet, right? Oh yeah, it's my Class 2/Class 3. It's got the custom rear F10 portal axle. You can see I made a carbon fiber servo mount. And that also then allowed me to use a centered rear center section to give me the 4-link. I mean, it was pretty wild there. Let me see. Was there anything else? I mean, my one grit sanding job here on the... But the titanium cage was fun. The battery was on this side. So it went up like this, and these little collars here, you rotate them out. There's one on each side, and when you rotate that, then the interior pan can lift up so that you can get to the battery. It actually goes in and drops down in there pretty well. Then you can drop it back and you latch that. And it can't swing out because the body retains it in place. I don't know why this one. Oh, I see. Oops. So now the interior can't lift up. You can lift up the whole truck by it, actually. Holmes stubby servo on the back and a full-size one up front. I think it's SHV 500 V3 in the front. Got the Holmes winch in there. It's a VFD with the same Crawlmaster Magnum stubby. It's just a sweet truck. Up front, it's the front of the body is retained the same way as the Phoenix. It's got these carbon fiber tabs right here with a hole, and then there's, you can see them right there, some carbon fiber tabs up front that bolt through the grill. So it drops down, you just put the pin through the side. Perhaps we should have taken the battery out. There's no battery in there, right? No, there's no battery in there. I was gonna say, I was like, whoops. What did you use for shafts for the centered rear axle? I built this. I narrowed this specifically to the length to use SCX 10.2 centered rear or center sections, and then the regular Phoenix outers. Since I have all of those parts individually, I could just build my own custom shafts. So that was pretty nice, right? And then I realized that I didn't actually have the shafts I needed done. Like they were going out to heat treating at the time. So I ended up just narrowing down 2 long side shafts by hand. Because planning, you know. But it's got all the steering angle. I mean, this thing's steered like crazy. So, good stuff. It was a fun rig. A lot of fun. 4-seat interior, because that gives you more scale points. So that's why 2 full rows. I also had to have these down bars in between, because you have to have down bars in front and behind of every row of seating. So I had to add these because I didn't have them initially. But since it's all titanium, it's super light. You know, and then of course I added a bunch of unnecessary shit to make it heavier, but regardless, I had a lot of fun with it. This is that Brazen Scale ATL chassis. This was a previous V, not V3. Maybe it's a V2. It's not a Pro because it's G10. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. All I know is that it was a lot of fun to build this truck, so I recommend the chassis. There you go. Oh, quick functional scale point for you guys. If you don't have all of the functional items, oh, I know I have my panhard bar off. Long story. But if you need a quick functional scale point, if you see right here, if you see that, that is a rod end, and it's a shock rod end specifically, because the shock rod ends are 3 mil. Regular 3 mil screws. So I just took and I ran a M3 screw in and into that shock end, and then I've got a functional scale, like, because that's a functional rod end that I could use on a shock if needed. I don't. It doesn't do anything, but it could. -1 scale point. Boom. So yeah. Which axle has better steering, F10 or F10 Portal? They're going to be very similar, like pretty much right on. So yeah, sneaky, not super sneaky, but it's kind of sneaky. It's a cheap functional point if you like need just one more for something, you need it quick. There you go. Hey Josh, did you post a story about a shortened VFD trans with an outrunner motor? Yes. That was actually my buddy Brandon, his truck. Coonsified, N-C-I-F-E-D. Kunzified is his Instagram tag if you want to go see that again. But yeah, he just cut and shortened the top shaft on his own, and then just shortened the posts and everything down. So Kunzified, who's my coworker, is also the original designer of the VFD. And I told him that I was going to build a shortened version of the VFD, and then he just did it first because he's just like, oh, I'm just going to do it by hand. He cut and drilled, where I like reprogrammed one so I could cut it on the Citizen, and so he beat me to it technically, but whatever. Josh, are you getting that airbrush kit? I think so. I think I'm going to try a little bit harder to not be such a hack at painting. So I think that I'm going to pick up that airbrush kit because I really think that what's holding me back is the tools. It's not my prep work or lack of patience or anything like that. It's really just the tools. So I think if I buy some expensive things, I will immediately become a better painter. I think that's how that works. Everybody I know, so it's not the tool, it's the operator. I don't think so. I don't think that's it. It doesn't sound right to me at all. So yeah, the painting jobs you've done in the past have all come out really good. There was like one that I ever did well. But that's the only one I ever really tried on too. So the family truckster is just green, and then I put some wood stencils on it. Or Josh is the expensive tool. Ben, I would go with the Iwata before the Grex. I like the trigger. I want the trigger. I have to have it. It's in my head. It's the only thing I could possibly imagine. What? Why did you? Let me see. So yeah, that I know you do. It's the only thing. It's the only way I can think of. Yeah, Hemi Storm buys only the finest rattle cans. But I feel like, I don't think that's it. I think he's fooling us somehow. Trigger is the way. See, I think that RC Tweaker, turn off your cap locks. DK gave you a timeout, but it's because you won't turn off your cap locks. Turn that off. It's very annoying in the chat. Remember, a tool is a useful thing. Not sure why it's an insult. Chris is a painting god. You know what? I feel like there's a team of tiny elves that actually helps him make those masks or something. Pash all the way. I think that's the one that. Wait, no. Moose Jar, are you in here? What's the one that I gave you? It was like a blue point or something, and it's like that style with the push down and the pull back thing. And I'm just like, I'll never use this. Moose Jaw, hope possibly someday you have better luck or use with this, because I don't know. Josh is saving stream donations to move Moose Jaw back or to fly him out on a weekly basis. So that was the other one is oh god, what was that called? Was it the paint brand on there? Get a Wagner power sprayer, be a man. That's my favorite. Let's see. It was, let me see. Not Airbrush Institute. It's after the next row. It is Mission Models RC Paints and Additives. So I think that I'm trying to get some of his stuff, and just gonna make it. We're gonna make it a thing. I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be a thing. I always send at least one message of those each stream. Well, Mike J, you've been. Their paint is quite good. Oh, that's good to know. Josh just can't drop off body smooth shot, so he's forced to paint himself. Here's the worst part. very rarely did I ever have to drop off bodies to Moose Jaw. More often than not, Moose Jaw picked up and delivered from my house. You can see how good the service was. So you can see why things have really had to change for me, because Moose Jaw just he made it so much easier. So that's why he moved. I'm sick of driving over there. To hell with that guy. Let's grab the Class 1. I stole the hubs off of this for another thing because they were narrowed down. But Josh, when is the 11-axis robot coming to run the airbrush? The Class 1 also, some real world dust patina is on here. I have not, you can see my fingerprints from grabbing it. Jeez. It's like I need to dust more often. Oof, the bed is covered too. So, the Class 1, my first ever forged carbon piece experiment. The one that was also responsible for me shish kebabbing my hand, which has almost completely disappeared. There's still a pretty decent, there's a noticeable divot. Like the fingerprints go across it still, but there's a divot. Casey Crawler, my bank account hates your YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you very much. But the rest of the forged carbon parts were quite fun. Such a fun I look forward to trying that whole process again, and coming up with all the things to do. But it's got, that's the other thing I need to do, is I need to put out the file for the 3D printable LS bottom half for the VS410 chassis. It's got the Westmade dash in it, which you can tell is, I chunked it here on the side, but it needs to be reattached a little bit better. I think it got knocked loose at some point. But it all turned out, it was such a fun build to kind of work through. Again, titanium cage, that all worked out. It was such like a trick little puzzle how that whole thing worked out and dropped in, and was just so good. I really, really liked that. And I did kind of one of my first, I did the transmission tunnel out of, I made a mold for it, and then vacuum formed it to fit perfectly. It fits over the shifters. The whole thing is like just right on. And then I did the rear inner fenders and vacuum formed those. Worked so good. It just made for such nice parts. They just fit perfectly. It was so fun to do that on a rig that was being custom assembled. Everything. I was super happy with that whole process. So you probably already answered this, but what time are you going to be there in the morning? Who's bringing donuts? I hate to try and... So my hope... I would like to be there before 8. But I'm also quite hard to get moving in the morning. How long will your vacuum former hold a vacuum? I don't know. As long as I have the button on. I don't know how long that is. It was so cool to see those trucks in person. It was fun. It was a fun time to get them out there and let people see what we tried to kill ourselves on for however long. They are supplying donuts at check-in. Oh yeah, that's right. Before 8 a.m., you're staying up all night? I know. Because if I'm going to be there by 8 a.m., that means I have to be like up and out of bed by 5 something to get packed. Because I got to stop and get stuff on the way because I have not properly packed anything. I have to get ice for the cooler. You know. Ugh. Yeah, that's a thing. The vacuum former would work great to form carbon sheets over a mold, but it would need to be for 10 minutes or so. Oh, I see what you mean. I have an actual vacuum pump for doing carbon stuff. Like I have the actual full, what was it, 2 or 3 stage vacuum pump for holding a mold on carbon. I bought that like 2 or 3 years ago. Probably 2 years ago. And I just hadn't used it. I actually used it for degassing some epoxy that I used for doing the compression carbon mold, which this is the way that I'm going to do more parts here ASAP. Because this piece is like, what is that? A millimeter thick, maybe? And this thing is just wild strong. This is it. I mean, so I have plans to do this again. I actually have this mold here, which you can, that's, I think I've showed you guys this before, but I don't know if you guys, do you know what this is? Let's see if anyone does. But yes, Dana, you are correct. Shortened Phoenix rear bed sides. So my plan is for this is to make a negative mold so that I can take and do this type of process with these. So these are like, oh, I don't have my Phoenix in here. Oh, that's right. I took it out already. I think these are like 3/4 to an inch shorter. And it's, the bedside would be like that, you know, on your Phoenix. I just took and I mirrored them both and laid them this way so that I could get a decent draft angle on all the surfaces. But this will allow me to make the rest of the mold. I'll backfill this with plaster, make the other part of the mold. I'll remove this, and then I'll probably backfill that mold with silicone. So I can lay my chop fiber in there, lay the cloth, and then put the silicone on there, and then put a ton of pressure on it. So hot dog stand holds tacos. Phoenix comp bedsides. Yeah, I think, yeah. And so, and I think that they'll still work on the rear bedsides, but I can't say that I did like a ton of testing to make sure that was the case. I should probably just form over this once with some like PET or some styrene. So, Musha says, just caught up. Yes, I accidentally painted over the headlights. Get a reamer and move on. Sounds like you need 120 PSI pressure tank. Oh, you mean like to put pressure down? Is that a thing? I don't know. Too much work. Just let us know when they're for sale. Yeah. I think that they would be way too expensive to sell to anybody. Because I would have to do like each one by hand, and it'll probably take me 2+ hours each. So plus curing time overnight, like they would be wild expensive to try and like sell to someone as a thing. Like hello all. How many mow the lawn in the dark? You know what? I've been gone for a week, so I need to badly. Carbon fiber axle housings? Hard no. You thought about the what? You thought about the ripper? Oh, you mean like do as far as what people were pay, or like doing ripper parts? Because still. Yeah. Well, the thing is that they would be wild expensive, and they're still bedsides that like you could still beat up. And I don't know how like long they would last, and I don't want to. So I'll do it. Be mad at it when I break them myself, and I spent all that time, and then you can laugh at my pain. That works, right? So. But again, the class 1 was another fun one. Moving on. Let's see. You guys haven't seen the carnivore in quite a while. This one I need to do some more work on. This is the one that I made the new hood mold for, which is super hard to see in the bright lights with the white. There. Now you can see it a little bit better, but it's got some definition to it there. So I need to get it painted, probably with my new airbrush when it arrives. But even this one, I didn't make the mold right for this one to do it that way, but I really like this truck. This is a truck that I've had for a long time. It was built by UC Fab. It's got the original set of F9 portals, SCX-102 F9 portals. They're raw still as well, but the very first set, I shot a release video with this. It's got a 3-gear in it with a Holmes Polar Pro and just, a bunch of other stuff. It needs, I don't remember why. I sent this off to Kyle over at UC Fab a couple years back, and he had it for a while, probably a little over a year. And he was going to do some stuff, I don't remember, but somehow I don't have springs on it anymore. I don't know if that happened there or here, but somehow that's a thing. What is this? OnlyFans? I'm trying to show you some definition. Let's see. What is, if I turn... see, that one doesn't do enough. There's that one. There's my other light. See, that one only adds a little bit. That one adds this side, because that light is behind me and above, like a hair light. Then I have my cloud light over here. That's this guy above my head. But the one I turned off first is my big front-facing light. That's the one that makes the most difference. So much light. Was there ever a good fix for slop in axles and ring and pinion mesh for the 2.2 Wraith? You can just shim your axles. You can shim the ring and pinion to take up some slop, but you're only gonna get so much depending on the design of the gears. So, and a lot of times, a lot of the slop comes not just from the gears, but then from the little bit of movement you'll get in universal axle shafts, and then also the movement between the hex and the hex pin, and then between the hex and your wheels. Like there'll be a little bit in there oftentimes too. So a lot of times, like when you can feel a bit of a mesh between each side, it's just because of the stacking of tolerances that you get through a drivetrain. So, Biodome flashed in my head. What reference from Biodome? I like that movie. Yeah. What tires are those, Josh? The same tires I put on everything, Pinky. Crawlers. Proline crawlers. This one specifically with orange Vanquish tanks, black beadlock rings, and black scale hardware. Yeah. But they look pretty good. Very nice. This is a non-functioning rear sway bar. The sway bar link goes through there, the rod, but on one side, it's just a ground groove around the actual, around the rod. So one of them just pivots on it, and it doesn't actually have any tension. So it's only for looks. You can see it moves freely without the other side reacting. King of the castle, king of the castle. That's Borat. All the tolerance stacking works well to get the critical speed needed to snap stuff. That is true at times. That is true. Those aren't RC four-wheel drive sand fronts. Do you still have that SSD high-speed Wraith? Oh, wow. No, I haven't had... I bet I haven't had that for like 6 or 7 years. I remember that, though. It was such a weird product. I'd be curious what you're interested in it for. I would like to know. So are the VXT2 crawler replacements? No. The VXT2s are like what I would run instead of a Hyrax, but I don't feel like they're a scale tire. Like they weren't meant to be. They were meant to just be a performance tire. So I still love my SMT10. That makes total sense. Okay. That would be, yeah, totally a good use for that. Other than the fact that you can't find replacement stuff. So it'd be like, oof, it'd be like it. Pretty scaled to me. I don't know. They just don't have that. I don't know. I just don't feel like they're the right scale tire. I love my crawlers, but, you know, it's just one of them things. What Harley build, past or present, is due for a V2 or a reboot now that you're more knowledgeable and added to your skills? That's a great question. I would say like the Woods Runner is the one. You know, that's technically like what, like a V3? Yeah. And I mean, maybe not, because I didn't build that cage, and I built the first one. You know, but I had that one built to the way that I wanted it. And so that then I can finish the rest of it. So, you know, yeah. I feel like that's the best one. It's the only one that I've ever really wanted to do, like another version of. All the rest of them were just kind of like one and dones, and I was fine with them leaving, and I never really thought about them much again. Yeah, that's just kind of the long lost BDI. That was fun. I don't know that I yearn to have the same one again. Man, V2 is pretty damn good, though. That is very true, Ben. The V2 Woods Runner was one of the best trucks that I was like, this is pretty freaking great. And the only thing, like for the V3 that I have, is just like, I want to do so many of the things that I did on that, like the stamped aluminum bits. But I want to do some carbon fiber now as well. I have the vacuum former for if I have something to think of there, like some of that. Then there's the Ultimate Bomber you never ran. That is totally true. That is at the office right now. And I was thinking about running that. I know exactly why I was thinking about that the other day. I did take it to the office, but it's because they're doing a U4 race up here next weekend, maybe? Yeah. And I need to get that truck ready for that. I'm going to go run it at that U4 race. So, yeah. I need to get that finished so that I can run there. The Matzilla Wraith build in a 1.9. I wouldn't do that one again, but I did like, I loved my Matzilla it was called the Matzilla U4 chassis. And I would do another one of those, like build the cage myself, obviously, since there's any more Matzilla cages coming out anytime soon. So that would be one that I would like to have a little replacement from. That would be, Matzilla cage was good. Yeah, you know, I think that the issues with the Matzilla stuff came from Lou himself. I think he had you know, some things he needed to get worked out, but it happens a lot. What happened to him? I don't know officially what happened. I had my own interactions, mainly positive, not all, but you know, what happens happens, and you know, I wish him the best, but I don't know that I would send him money in advance. And then we've got the most recent moon buggy that you guys have seen. We've been working on this in some of our recent streams here. I've got let's see, what things have changed here or have furthered since you saw it. I have designed up some of the interior bits that I plan to have. I've got some stuff that I want to laser cut and a few things here and there. I've got a low profile Holmes servo that will be dropped in here, so a little bit stubbier, and I'm going to redesign a bit of the front servo mount to get things kind of more in the place where I think they need to be, for just a little bit more accuracy. Why do I have this thing shifting? Oh, that's right, because I didn't have the long set screws in there. I need to remember to do that still. But yeah, this is a UC Fab chassis as well, like the Carnivore was. And I just have some things I plan to get situated around and dropped in there. But this truck is going to be another one that I want to get done correctly and have a lot of fun with. So this thing, the drivetrain is fully in this truck right now. And it's portal axled, so I'm running a deluxe portal transmission, and it's just a tiny little transmission, and it leaves me a ton of room in the middle of this thing for an interior, and that's tough to do in a moon buggy. So that's why it felt like the perfect application for it. I'm gonna be able to run a tiny little battery in there, have a full-size driver seat that will be unoccupied. Unless Slender Man goes in there. Where is he? I may use 3D printed Slender Man. What, the beer-bellied Slender Man. It's weird, isn't it? So. I feel like now he's way too small. These trucks are super tiny, and people look oddly huge in them. And this guy is way too small for it. So it will not be him. It's like a stupid puzzle. But, so, you know, some more things to get figured out there. This will be another one of those ones that takes a little bit before it's finished. But I have no real worries or deadline on this thing. I'll finish it when I finish it. But it's got a 3D printed motor in the back with a turbo and all that. So, gonna be slick. Somehow, it too is getting dusty. But it's currently set up in droop. It may get run in droop, but maybe with springs over and under type thing. Just because these type of trucks normally run a air shock. So they don't normally have an external spring, you know, like a coilover. So that might be how this thing runs to get it the way it needs to be. It needs 2.2 cut and shuts. I don't know. I don't know that would be the right height for this. So this is a 4.75 inch tall tire, obviously. And the wheelbase is going to be a mystery because I think my tape measure is not in here. It is not. I left it in the garage while I was building the trike. I think this thing was around 13 and a quarter esque, something like that. So I think that these tires may scale somewhere appropriately. Because, you know, droop is king. What's up, Ben? I also do not like droop suspension. And droop suspension in the way that it is referenced, meaning that the shocks sit completely compressed at ride height. Droop is a thing that the definition varies with how it's used in RC versus how it's used in or RC crawling versus how it's used in like racing or full-size trucks. Like, it's all over. Let's call it 13 2/8. So, you know. But we'll have a few more things to get knocked out. This one, I feel like there's not even, it looks so far from done just because of how minimal it is in there. But I really don't think it's actually as far. It's just the, you know, the look of a few things here and there could help really clean things up. This front steering servo setup may take some, you know, some time to get designed the way I like, and that's probably where most of it will be. But we're gonna get it kind of moved, the servo moved back and tucked away a little bit more, so it's hidden even further. But yeah, then we'll be solid. This one will be fun, but there's also not a lot to show you because it is so simple. Oh, you know what we haven't seen on the stream in a long time is the freaking Ace and Gary mobile. How many of you were on the live stream where I put this together? Or have seen pictures of it since? Because it's a while. I mean, this was like COVID times. My best yet. Yes, this was another Moose Jaw job. And everything except the Sabre logo is paint. Oh, and the 37. That is not paint. But this is a sidecar racer. Like the old Tamiya, but not. So you can see 3 wheels offset on the one there. But what is a low bro? This thing where did I find it? I found it on a French website, and it's called like S88R. And I don't remember hardly anything else about it. I think that this is a model called like the S88R from France. And their website would not allow me to buy it and ship to the US. So I had to find someone in France who would help me out with a little bit of like translation, like persuasion, to get them to just let me buy it. Let me give you money so you can send me the thing. I will pay for what it costs. Just so underneath of Ace and Gary mobile, just because like I don't know what's inside there making noise, but it's got a bit of a phallic look. Like, I mean, it just does. It especially looked a lot more phallic when this was unpainted and it was just the bulbous portion with the but underneath of here we've got the very simple layout of this thing. Steering in the front, as one may imagine. I've got Team Power's F1 tires on here, which is what this thing is meant to run F1. Or it came with 2 axles. and this one was for the F1. I don't remember. It was a weird deal, but the front and the side match, but this one is wider. I've got I have a 13.5 in here on a direct drive, which I think is going to be much too fast. Like basically going to make this thing uncontrollable. So also why it's never been, I mean, that's not why it's never been driven. I've just never driven it. But it's such a silly, it's such, 25.5 is what you want. Yeah, I think that's what I remember hearing, is that this was going to be basically an undrivable setup. Does it get hard body points? only if you say nice things to it. Doesn't it look bigger with the top off? So yeah, it's ready to go though. I think that it theoretically would even power up. So, it's such a funny little thing though. Oh, there's the other. So there's like some extra hexes here and this extra rear shaft, and that was like depending on which tires you run and what hexes you need. So I don't know, like I don't need these. I found the setup that I'm gonna run. So I just, those aren't needed anymore, but this is if you're gonna run a shorty battery, it comes with a secondary strap. I left the longer strap on. And yeah, that's it. Strap on. I know what I said. I heard what I said when I said it. Yeah, you said it. Yeah, I knew what I said when I said it. But, I mean, this thing is cool. Like, the racing, the fact, I mean, Moonshot did a great job with painting the driver figures and the helmets, defining some sort of visor look. It was really, really good job. The checkerboard race, that's all, he did that all. Didn't have a vinyl cutter yet. Both rear tires are driven. Nope, just the one, because it's like a motorcycle where only one tire is driven. So this and this are the motorcycle part, and this is the sidecar wheel. So they still race those things. Let me tell you, they don't race this one. No. I believe that they race them. If there's more available, I'd like to know, because, I mean, not that this thing is crazy advanced, but still. So, yes. Did that quarter scale motorcycle ever get done? That quarter scale motorcycle is at Matt's house, and it is Matt's problem now until I see it again. And it is not my problem until then. I built the Fijan, the FJ944732 Fijan. I'm in on 2 if you're ordering more. Gunner, this thing, if I've ever felt real dumb about an RC purchase, this one it ranks pretty high up there. The Flex Seal truck, never regretted it for a minute. This one, I'm like, I mean, I think I paid like, I don't remember, but I think it was upwards of, like, I'm pretty sure it was well over $300. Yeah. How many dancing riders do you have again? Never regretted a dancing rider for a second. But like, I think that this thing was like $380. And it's dirt simple. A lot of it's 3D printed. It looks like and yeah. Think about that though, man. You were reaching for Friday night builds, and I know. That was when I was just like, I still got to build something new. And then, yeah, like, it's, I mean, we were peak time for, that was around the same time. I bought 2 planes we were supposed to crash, and I own 4 Camtechs. Stupid what? Camtech's next. Don't you dare. Now, while Moose Jaw may think that's some of his best work, I think this is my favorite Moose Jaw paint job ever. This is the Camtech. What the hell were these things called? I don't banger or something like that. And again, another 3-wheel masterpiece. But it was made better by the fact that Moose Jaw absolutely killed this paint job. I mean, like, it's absolutely one of like the best paint jobs I've ever seen him do. Like, it's so good. And it is modeled after a Reliant Robin or Regal. I think it's the Regal. I think the Regal is the one that has this hood. The Robin has the flat hood. But it was, I mean, it's so good. So underneath of that's a Regal. Yeah. Now, yes, my love of the Reliant vehicles like the Robin and Regal comes from the Top Gear episode with Jeremy Clarkson. But look at that. Moose Jaw built this little cage inside out of styrene or ABS or wood. I think it's styrene. Actually, this might be part sprues. I don't know. Whatever he did a fantastic job there as well. And then he put in the top half of a bomber driver because obviously, and put him on the right side, correct side, however you want to call it, both the same. Like, that thing is so good. And it's all on the outside, so, you know. Yeah. And then underneath of the little Camtech is the world's most basic little platform. But like this whole thing, it comes RTR with the servo, with the speed control. You have to add your radio gear. But it's like, it was like $120 or something like that. I mean, it's crazy cheap. But it there's nothing to it. The rear pod, which is molded, it rides on a couple of springs there in the back. You can see. And that's where the little bit of suspension it does have comes from. It's got the rubber bushing pivot in the front, and that's it. And yes, this has the Camtech Satan motor. Satan! Oh yeah, a little bit of suspension in the front. You can see it. But this is where all Matt and I's jokes about the Satan motors came from. Because it's so funny. It's such a funny little weird car that is going to be... So this is one of the vehicles going to Proline by the fire. Matt's bringing his. I believe Gunner. There'll be a number. But yes, that is where the Satan race will happen. It will definitely not be 24 hours because we don't have that much time. These things won't last that long. And there's probably like 100 other reasons. But we will film. It will be seen. Does Joe have one? I'm pretty sure Joe has one. Yes, I know he has one because he was going to do a Britney Spears 24 minutes. I think that's probably more likely. I mean, I know Nicole would be happy with 24 minutes. So, talking about that 3-wheeler again, right? No. 2.4 hours. No, nah, I don't think that's gonna. Josh, did you see Valentino's motorcycle where it's like a subscription to model. So one, I've seen that a lot. Those subscription-based things where you get one piece every however often, and I'm not usually that interested. That's honestly like my worst nightmare. Like, I have to wait a month between each part, and then I get to put it on. I'm like, no fucking way. I want nothing to do with that. Like, I know that's like, I just can't. It took like 2 years to yeah, that they said they have 96 pieces. You have to wait 96 months to finish it? Not interested. Not. By the time that thing's done, I'm going to be so uninterested in it. What was 96 months? Like 8 years? Yeah, 8 years. Like, that's monthly mayhem from hell. Yeah, the opposite. In 8 years, are you going to be interested in a 2020 2020 GTR, whatever the hell it was? Like, nah, pass. Like, big no. They send 4 to 8 pieces a month. Okay, so it's somewhere between 1 and 2 years. Nope. Not interested. I can tell you now, I will never do that. I say never a lot. Yeah, there you go. The Camtech. Get yourself one. They're cheap and stupid. And even if you never run it, you get to have a cheap and stupid RC car that sits on your shelf, but looks awesome. And it's hard to find 3-wheel RCs, so you have to check them off your list when you can. This may be cheaper than a Dancing Rider. Wheelie bar on that RC? You know what? For some reason, I don't feel like that's probably needed. I don't know that the Satan has enough oomph to really to want. The bug would be next. Oh, I don't know what that means. I got one with your code. I don't have a code to them. Put a rocket on it. Turn this into a drag race. Even my drag racer doesn't go straight already, let alone making it shorter and have less wheels. Like, that's a terrible idea. Camtech has some really cool bodies. Yeah, I think, God, did Gunner, I feel like Moose Josh showed me some of the other ones as well. They have like a number of other like banger bodies. Oh, your VIP code that you accidentally showed. I remember that was for A-Main. What was it though? Oh, the Dancing Rider. That's right. Let's see that 4.0. Let's see what a 4.0 brushless motor does. No. Let's see. We've got the long wheelbase Unimog. Another Dusty. Oh. Where's the interior? Right here. I don't know if this interior ever got released by Axial. This is the 6x6 UMG interior. I don't know if they ever made it. I have one. Okay, they did. So, this isn't sitting on there properly, but there's still a couple of things that I want to change on this. A couple of little things here and there, but I'll fix that bed gap because that was the one thing that always bothered me. It's more up here than it is down there, so I need to adjust some things. But this is the one that I told Moose Jaw, paint whatever you want. And he put freaking Crocs on it. But that's what you get when you don't give somebody direction. That's what you get. So we've got Croc Life. I guess those are like croc nostrils. On the roof, it says Crocs with socks rocks. We've got another Croc Life on this side. Oh, also in the socks, you can see the blue stripes for the tube sock style. Crocs. You get what you get, and you won't get upset. Jesus Christ. Then what else do we have? Oh, on the back, we have Das Crocs. Dose times. So, yeah. Crocs, and it's orange. I was expecting some color like pink. I have orange Crocs, so that's why. So this thing still needs to get fixed. But this one was a fun little engineering project as well. I made as you can tell, it's a longer wheelbase than normal. Not 6x6 though. While I did use the 6x6 frame extension kit, it's cut short because this is not the same length as what that would be. So I had to make a new section here where this rear suspension mount went. And that holds I have a carrier bearing design into the center of this, and then I extended the skid to make it one nice like flowing setup to make it much more complete that way. But you can see in the center what would you call it? Carrier shaft, transfer shaft, whatever. And then there's a carrier bearing set up there in the center. So, rear bed set up separate from the cab so I could pull that off. And then I did these body mounts that mount here off of the side. And it's 3D printed here on top, but that's just like a guide / washer to get it to go down in the center, which the center part, or the bottom, is carbon fiber. You can see the pattern there. So it's a super rigid mount, but the 3D printed just keeps it so that when these body posts back here, when they go down, they sit perfectly into like a nice, like mounted cup area to keep everything just perfect. So it started as a SCX-10-2 raw builder's kit. So it's got the stock axles right now. These are the Proline Grunt tires, which are very appropriate. And they're the Incision Hole Shot. No, these are not Hole Shot. These are Panzers. So, I don't have all the screws in them yet, but yeah. Cool truck. Fun truck. I just need to do a little bit. I'm going to move what I need to do is basically move the rear bed forward about 1/8 of an inch in the front and 1/4 of an inch in the rear, because right now it's got like some tension to it. So move that, it'll get squared up to the back of the cab better, and I'll be in good shape. Really want a UMG 10 re-release. Glad you're putting the brushes to good work. Yes. But, there's still work to be done. You know what I really hate more than anything is the design of the grille and body mounts on the front of a UMG 10. Hate it. Hate the design. There, I said it. I'm glad the UMG's gone. Josh, I've been looking at the Grex airbrush kit. Amazing kits. Thanks for letting me know. I'm told those other styles that are trigger style, but I don't really care which one I get. I just want one with that trigger. Psh, psh. I want it. Need it. It's going to make me the best painter ever. Mark my words. All you're lacking is better tools. That's why you're not as good. Maybe not. Maybe not. We are 2 hours into this. What? So not good design. Matt, if you for a second try and say that the front grille of this thing with the body mount and everything was a good design on this truck, you're nuts. This is not a good enough design. This was trash. No, it was terrible. Okay, wait. No, terrible design or me as a painter? I'm confused. Which one are we talking about now? Seriously though, the front grille body, garbage. Hot garbage. Hate it. Yes, terrible design. Thank you. Get on there. Awkward. One of my favorite projects of all time. Another dusty bitch. This is cleaning night. It was supposed to be event prep night, but I decided to not to. So, the OMG 63 in its awesomeness. Still, other than the one instant that we had in this corner here with a little bit of body damage, this body is still in like immaculately good shape. Like, it's just such good shape. But I guess before we go underneath it and show that big front air dam setup with the front splitter has seen better days. It took some good whacks on the last speed run attempt. And I'll tell you what, when it was not there to help, it was a noticeable difference in performance. That front splitter was incredibly helpful. But the rest of the design of the front, like I was positive that I was going to have to rebuild the front of this thing so many times. So I like designed around it like this is going to be easily replaceable. I'm going to be able to do this, be able to do this. And I never had to. But how fast? What did we do? 72? Like 72 or 73? Little bit of body damage. Josh body damage too. Yeah, that hurt real good. And there's some noticeable, if you've ever built one of these bodies, all this like trim and stuff on the inside and the headlights, all that, it's got like structure behind it. And that is what exploded. Really. Cause I mean, the body dented in really good, but it was, Matt turned his TRX6 into a TRX2. It was that. Matt's crash was still one of the most impressive sounds in an RC crash I've seen. I was just like, I felt that energy. But we have the side dams, of course, also Chibin fiber. The rear diffuser, as you can see, it's got the upward sweeping vent. That's 0.5 millimeter carbon fiber with like a 100-inch radius to it so that it flows up nicely. And yeah, then the rest of the fins. The whole bottom, of course, is carbon. All of these screws are titanium. Because weight reduction. This here is a functional access panel. You remove this one screw and that drops down, and then I can get to the transmission screws that I need to be able to pull the transmission. So that was super helpful, and I'm really glad that I put that in there because I ended up having to use that. Yeah, but all the titanium hardware, I think that's where that extra couple miles an hour came from. So underneath the UMG 63, AMG 63, what is this thing called? OMG, AMG, UMG. This is the AMG 63. It came with the big inner fenders. So I removed all that, both front and rear, and went to the TRX4 Sport style towers to get it a little bit more simplified. I made a battery tray that sits way down low. That's out of ABS, so not carbon fiber. I should have fixed that later. Oh, Hana RC. Good seeing you again. It's almost like I haven't seen you in like 36 hours. I can't believe. I wonder, are you back in Hawaii already? Or are you still in Vegas? But so that's one of the only pieces that I didn't remake in carbon fiber. I left in the original design. I think it was actually a second revision, but still. So kept the battery nice and low as far as where I could. Maybe it could have been lower, but for space wise, it's about all I had. And all of this stuff was done on such a time constraint. Like I was just like, got to get this done, got to get this done. Like the little bits, things I could do here and there helped, but I did redo the whole undercarriage later, and that's when I went to carbon fiber on this whole setup. I bet I have, I don't know, I bet I have $500 in carbon fiber in this thing. Plus titanium hardware. Plus all the stuff Matt and I put into them the first time. The portal deletes, the hardened gears. I mean, so much. But it still has a freaking stock Traxxas servo. Stock servo. There's no room in the budget to upgrade the 2075. It's got, I had to later, the second attempt after the Monthly Mayhem, I upgraded the motor. Matt and I used the same motor in the Monthly Mayhem series, and then after that I decided to try and put a little bit more in it. So I got the biggest motor Traxxas said would bolt up to this thing. They had their engineers take a look and they're like, here's the one that will fit the best we can figure. So I put that in there, but it ran into where the stock servo should be. So I designed a carbon fiber tray that sits right here. And I basically took the rotation point from the end of the servo horn and rotated the servo position 180 degrees so that the geometry didn't change too much. It changed a little bit at extremes, but in the center, it was pretty much the same geometry. Did that quickly. It's got a wild turbofan, or a WTF, on the top that is very loud, and put some good air down onto the motor because I was getting overheating issues. It's got a metal motor mount, but other than that, inside the transmission is pretty much stock. I took out some of like the extra gears for the 2-speed and made some lockouts, some 3D printed lockout spacers to just reduce things spinning, hopefully reducing weight and stuff like that. The axles are all open, and I made these cable clamps. You see right here on the outside, it's right there, and it just the shift cables just go into them, and then they're locked down, so it can't shift anywhere, but it doesn't need the servo to keep them in position. So it was just like the easiest, cheapest, lightest way, other than just like finding some hokey way to like zip tie them in position. But at that big Traxxas, the 8S X-Max system for the ESC, it was truly an impressive thing. It's amazing how much you did, Matt. I mean, I was overly obsessed with this project for sure. There was so much done. It was such a wildly fun. It's still pretty front heavy. I mean, I guess it makes sense with that big ass motor and all that. Probably a portion of its stability issues come from all of that front weight bias, but either way, I'm still pretty happy with this one. See you, Phoenix. Thanks for helping out as always. But One of my favorites. This one, show us your floor. Not a chance in hell. It's about as bad as it has ever been in here. This whole room, outside of what you see, is beyond embarrassing. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's ridiculous. Can we see the Tamiya Bronco? Yep, absolutely. I still have my GNSS on the back of this thing. It's probably good to know. Probably be looking for that at some point. But yeah. Definitely one of my favorite cars to date. Let's put her back. Tamiya CC02 Bronco. It's still a CC02, but it looks pretty good in this state. I made some quickie Velcro body mounts because, you know, but it's the Idiocracy Brondo racing theme. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. Costco loves you. Let's see. You got fueled by and enhanced by electrolytes. Camacho for president. Look at that detail on there. Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew, Herbert Camacho. Loose shot. The freaking stickers on that thing, so tiny. Did such a good job. That's paint, but like his stencils, I mean. What just fell out? A tiny little screw. No telling where that came from. Yeah, the Brondo on the side. Let's see. On the front, you got Not Sure Racing across the hood. It's got electrolytes. Brondo, the thirst mutilator. I just told him I wanted a Brondo racing theme, and I showed him the Heatwave trophy truck. That was the white, red, orange, yellow, black type theme, and he did the rest, and it came out fantastic. There's purposeful typos on here as well that I don't remember where, and yeah, I know I just read them all and I should know which ones had them, but yeah. Underneath, I just put some clear Gorilla Tape and then put my Velcro on the inside there so that the Gorilla Tape can stay forever. The Velcro I could remove if I needed. So, yeah. Some fun little... I mean, this is very typical. By. Oh. Brought to you by. It's B-U-Y rather than B-Y. Did you know you can get 10% Heatwave visual sunglasses with coupon code Do It With Dan? I did not know that, but there you go. I'm not much of a Heatwave style glass guy, but yeah. These are the Class 0 Proline crawlers. We still don't have a Class 1, but they gave us a Class 0. And they look really good. I've got Method 101s on there with the IFR. Ooh, which IFR rings are these called? Those are the Omnis. Yes, those are the Omnis, I believe. So yeah, but gave it a little bit of a pop of color with the inner red ring. I think it came out splendid. Oh, you know what? You know what this has right out of the box is a Tamiya connector. Here, my friends, we have a RC four-wheel drive mystery box. We have found the use for nothing that I will ever use. I feel like I shouldn't open that. Should I just? I mean, there's no reason to open. And I feel like if I open it, it makes it not useless. Because like, man of the hour just said, and they said it was useless. No, I feel like I have to leave this closed. And yeah, we can't do it. Man, please put more than 7.2 through it, please. Let's see. Oh, here was the other thing. Evidently, Matt tried mounting any tire to these Tango Downs, the one that we thought. I'm going to try this because Matt said that it was almost he couldn't get any tire to mount to these wheels. Let's try it. Let's just try it with these ridiculous sand tires. I had a real hard time getting a Proline tire on there. Okay, it was a Proline tire specifically. Let's see. I remember I lost, somehow my 2.0 bit driver has gone missing. Their wheels really only like their tires. That makes sense. Let's see. Let's see how these super useless sand paw tires go on. Don't you generally need Proline inner rings for RC4 drive wheels? I forgot they were still on that weird having to like buy other ones. They sell like the blue ones, right? Or is that SSD? The fact that they still have the steely style wheel construction bothers me, of course, but that's SSD. That makes sense. Same. Let's see how much of a pain in the ass this is. This might not be terrible. I always just hate trying to get the center portion lined up with the... Oh, God. And then you have to get everything... You have to get which freaking 5-lug pattern bolts up correctly, since it's not such a garbage design. I think that's lined up. Let's see. Quality hardware. Josh gave me out first try, but spokes are misaligned. That's what I feel like I could. I'm pretty sure that they are off by like 1/8 of a hole. But you know what? I don't care. Thought those wheels weren't steel. They're not, but they're like the steely type design. They still mount with the center holes clamping everything. The only prep for tomorrow event's being done. That's exactly right. Yeah, we're definitely off by about 1/8 of a hole. So as you can see, it's got more of like an eyelid look now rather than a circle. Maybe it's a quarter of a hole. Either way. That and 4 front sand tires. You're set. So. There's one screw that aligns with the wheel cutout like the element wheels. Let's see. Yeah, I went with the one that was just a little off kilter. That one, maybe that one it? I don't know. Doesn't line up perfectly regardless. Maybe it's that one. I think it's that one. Hard to say. Drifting tires. Yeah. Inspired me to design my own body mounting system for the SCX10. Hey, that's the best. For some reason, the body mounting designs can always be one of the most fun projects. Put those tires in the TRX 4000 and hold the trigger until the battery goes dead. Oof. I wonder how that would go. I feel like with that much weight, these things could still have traction. Hey Josh, did you grab any RC4 drive pens at the show? You know. I grabbed one more for my unofficial NERSA pen review video that I need to edit and get posted onto social media. Burnout tires on the no prep car. I don't think that I could pay anybody to try and spin these up. Those drag car motors nowadays, they don't last that long. So you gotta, and they're expensive. Those guys pay a lot for those motors. I think TRX 4000 is my best bet. But with all of that, I know it's early, but we're going to call tonight's stream. Because while I didn't get anything done in here, I still have to get something done before I can go to that event. So, with that, I thank you all for joining tonight. It's been a blast. I'm glad that I'm back and back into my normal routine. Because now it's, literally just got there. Sorry. Anyway, that's what's going to do it. I hope you all have a thanks for the show and dust. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining. Have a great weekend. Next week, almost back to normal, 100% normal. I don't remember. Oh, before I go, one last video I have to get edited that's done is my Sportsman is running, driving, the whole deal, other than some paint, which I'm just waiting on a very expensive airbrush for now. Yeah. I'll see AAC tomorrow. Yes, I will be at the Autism Awareness Crawl. So hope to see some of you there. Those of you who are close enough, I hope you make the trip. See you guys next time. Bye.